Hello and welcome. My name is Daria Volkova and I can break down any complicated concept. Today, I will tackle the annotations and alerts in Grafana, their types and main features. In addition, I will briefly explain the configuration steps. Toward the end, I plan to show how to display annotations and alerts on the calendar panel. Let's go! Generally speaking, the annotation alert feature is needed when your metric reaches a certain threshold and as a result you expect the system or operator to perform some actions. For instance, I have two devices and can switch between them here in the drop-down. This time series visualization displays the selected device temperature. I want to generate a warning if the temperature exceeds 65 degrees for at least 20 seconds. If the temperature reaches 100 degrees, I expect the operator to slow the device down to allow for natural cooling effect. On the graph, I want to see all warnings, all instances where temperature exceeds 65 degrees for at least 20 seconds, and all instances when the operator pushed a button to slow down the device. I need to control the showing by on-off toggles. Let me open the schema depicting all annotation types to connect the abstract concepts with dashboard example. The first I have is native annotations. Just like this, they could be added manually by hovering over the data point of interest and clicking the Add Annotation. Then enter the description, I enter expect maximum capacity, and for the tag I put internal. Click Save. Just like that, the native annotation has been added. It looks like a vertical dashed line on a time series visualization. Native annotations work well when the sudden metric change is not critical for the system, when a manual data entry explaining what happened long after the fact is satisfactory. I call this a passive observation. A native annotation could be created by a person with at least editor privileges, like I just demonstrated, or could be a bit automated with HTTP API. You can hover over the bottom of the line and see the annotation details. From the data point of view, an annotation is a record in the annotation table. The annotation table usually resides in the Grafana configuration database. The configuration database is where Grafana captures its configuration, like dashboard settings, variables, and, well, annotations. By default, the configuration database is SQL Lite 3. You can switch from it and use PostgreSQL or MySQL database instead. Please refer to my blog post for more details. Annotations are coupled with dashboards. That's why the menu to work with them is here in the Dashboard Settings menu, where you can access all other dashboard settings. I have 3 annotations set up for my dashboard, but before going in there, I need to review 2 other annotation types. So let's move on to the alerts. Alerts are designed for active observation. This means the Grafana Alert Manager automatically generates alert according to your alert rules. By those rules, the Alert Manager can send email and Slack message notifications to whoever is responsible for addressing the issue outside Grafana. Please note, however, that an alert is just another annotation type. Alerts are stored in the same database and tables as the native annotations. They also could be displayed as a vertical line in the time series visualizations. And the menu to configure the alert appearance is the same as for native annotations. It is in the dashboard settings, then the annotations menu. The alerting rules menu is here under the hamburger menu, then alerting. In the alert rule section, I have one rule set up. You can create alerting rule by clicking this create alert rule button or through provisioning. My rule was created using provisioning. Provisioning is when you use an automatically generated JSON file instead of using UI for manually clicking and entering. In the actual production environment, provisioning is almost always the case. Provisioning is scalable and significantly reduces the human factor. This rule says to look at the metric table from the timescale database. Evaluate the value column every 10 seconds for 20 seconds. This means to evaluate two values, and if both are greater than 50, then fire, which means create an alert. Let's return to the schema to review the last annotation type, annotation query. I plan to dive deeper into the annotation queries in my next video with step-by-step tutorial. For now, I will say that the meaning of annotation query is a performed action. Those records, which from the data point of view are the same as annotations, are created by third-party API. As for the storage, it could vary. You can employ any database and its corresponding data source. Alternatively, you can still capture the annotation records in the Grafana configuration database. For that, use the Grafana HTTP API data source. In my dashboard, the annotation queries could be observed here in the Annotations menu. The menu I previously showed and mentioned I was going to return here. Here I am. So again, here I specify which annotations to display. The significant advantage of using the built-in storage, namely configuration storage for the annotation queries, is that it allows you to leverage all existing Grafana UI filtering and variables. Because of that, I can use that filter and display any device's data on the same visualization, which means my alerts are not coupled with dashboard variables. If you ever saw the broken heart icon, which Grafana displays when at least one alert is fired, then you probably noticed it's not showing here. It's because I employed the Grafana HTTP API data source and captured all my annotations in the Grafana configuration database. My next video will show the step-by-step tutorial for configuring the Grafana HTTP API data source. And now to the last piece for today. How to display annotations on the calendar panel. It's pretty easy. Add a calendar panel. On the right-hand side, in the calendar section, there is the annotations toggle. Set it to enabled and enjoy having all your annotations displayed. In the query, you can be more specific and filter to display a subset of annotations according to your requirements. That's all I have for Annotations Alerts introductory video. I would love to hear what you think about my summary table. Let me know if I need to include anything important. Remember to subscribe. A new subscriber alert puts a big smile on our faces. Thanks for watching and see you next time.